All right, everyone. So today I wanted to share with you guys a general guide on the best and most efficient way to clear an event shop. And this is really important, especially if you're looking to save time or looking to save stamina, because in a lot of cases, you might actually be doing more things in an event than is required in order to buy everything in the event shop. Now, if you just like to run the event anyway, and that doesn't really bother you, then go for it. But if you're all about stamina, efficiency, and really getting the most out of your resources, you really want to pay attention to what is required in order to fully clear an event shop. And everything that we've seen in Global so far, all the event shops have been capped. There's been a limit to everything that you can buy. There's not really been anything that has an unlimited amount of purchases. I don't know if the JP version, it's like that for like the gold chest, but on Global, there is a hard limit. So once you end up clearing an event shop, that's it. There's really no use for the resources that you get from the event anymore, unless you just like to kind of run it on your own just for fun. Now, the very first thing that you want to do before even thinking about buying anything in an event shop is go through and take a look at the total amount of currency that it's going to take in order to buy every single item. And this might be a little bit tricky if an event uses many different types of currency, but like the Awakened Lily event, it uses two different types of currency. You got this red one right here, and then we've got this black one right here. I guess technically three, but this is the unrevealed item, which we don't really know anything about right now, so that one doesn't really count yet. But because we know what types of items we can buy, we want to go through and take a look at the total number of them that are available. Obviously, it's not going to be the numbers that you guys see on the screen because I've already mostly cleared a lot of the stuff in the event shop. But go through and you have to do some basic math and numbers. Very basic, just how many items can you end up buying and how much does it end up costing, and then just add it all up. And you want to do that for each different type of currency. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a number of how many of the different types of currency you're going to need in total in order to clear the shop. Now, this is really important because the next thing that you want to do is take a look at how long the event is going to be running. Because what your goal is going to be is to get the amount of currency that you need to fully clear the shop, obviously before the event ends. And this is why a lot of people will actually overfarm an event, is because if there's only so much currency that you need to fully clear the shop, once you end up getting that much, you don't really need to farm it anymore, unless of course you just like to actually run the event. Now, the next thing that you want to do, and this is probably the most important step and the one that's going to really save you a lot of time, is figure out how many times you can run the event. If it is limited, kind of like the Awakened Lilia, it's somewhat limited. You can only end up running it 3 times yourself, but you can, as an emergency, or if you want to help out, join your friends' runs as well and end up getting currency through that. Now, what you want to do is not only figure out how many times you can run the event per day, but very, very importantly is you want to go through the loot table on the different difficulties, because obviously you're going to end up getting more of the resources on the highest difficulty, but just because you will get more resources from the highest difficulty doesn't mean that you have to fully clear the highest difficulty every single day in order to fully clear the event shop. Now, if you just like to challenge yourself and run the highest difficulty anyway, go for it. But if you want to save yourself time or stamina, because obviously the lower difficulties don't cost as much, then this is a very, very important step. And I know, for example, with the Awakened Lilia event, with the way that the event shop is laid out right now, I actually went through and I realized that you definitely do not need to run it on extreme 3 times a day in order to fully clear the shop. Now, the amount of materials that you get on hard, on the extreme difficulty, you end up getting, about 60 of the gray ones per stack. You end up getting about 40 of them on hard. You end up getting about 20 of them per stack on normal. And if you were to just go through and do, let's say, the hard difficulty 3 times a day for the entire duration of the event through the 15th, that will give you, unless you are incredibly, incredibly unlucky, enough of both of the materials in order to fully clear the event shop. So obviously that's going to end up saving you some time, and it's going to end up saving you some stamina, but also just might make your life a little bit easier and less stressful, knowing that you don't have to completely clear the highest difficulty every single day in order to get everything in the event shop. And as a backup as well, for this event in particular, you can always end up joining friends runs in order to get some extra currency as well, just in case you get really unlucky or, something happens. But that's probably the most important step right there. Now, once you've kind of figured all of that out, the next question is the priority order. Well, you know that eventually you're going to end up getting everything in the event shop. So this might not feel as important, but it's still a bit important to do. Also, it allows you to get the best items soonest, and nobody really wants to wait in order to get the best items until later on, right? That's just no fun. But the most important step about this is seeing what items have a daily limit, because in a lot of cases, you can't just end up farming all the currency and then waiting until the very last day of the event shop and then buy everything out, because a lot of items are going to have a limit, which is why I still haven't fully purchased the evolution pendants, the SSR pendants, and the 5-star awakening stones. Is I have that timer blocking me right now. And even though I still have them in the event shop, there is a limit of 1 per day for both the SSR pendants and the awakening stones. So if there's a limit of 1 per day, and let's just say there's 5 of these available in the event shop, that means that you need to start buying them at the very earliest 5 days before the event shop goes away. If you wait until the very last day in order to buy everything out, then all these items that have this daily limit, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get them all. You'll be stuck, and you'll have 4 SSR pendants and 4 awakening stones go to waste. So the items that end up having the lowest daily limit and the highest number of them in the shop, so let's say instead of 5 of these awakening stones, there were 10 of them in the shop, you would want to prioritize these because it's going to end up taking you more days in order to fully clear out the event shop. If there are 10 awakening stones, but you can only end up buying them 1 per day, and there are 5 SSR pendants, and you can only end up getting, 1 of them per day, well, it might be tempting in order to go and get the pendants first. It's actually more important to get the awakening stones because it's going to take more days of actually going, checking the event shop, buying your 1 daily limit in order to fully clear it out. Now, besides those items with a daily limit, you can really kind of work with this the way that you want to, because, if you end up farming the event properly and you did the earlier steps where you really just go through and you see how much total currency you need to clear it versus how much currency you're going to actually get just by running and farming the event all the way up until it ends, it's not really too big of a deal, but I would still prioritize the most important items just in case. You never know, in case things happen. So, like the the Green Lilia token, or your first copy of her if you haven't got her. The Part 2 SSR ticket, obviously, that's a pretty awesome item. I would say the cosmetics, those are probably going to be at the top of the list as well. Very, very important. And the things that, obviously are not as big of a deal, like worst case scenario, right? Let's just say you got really unlucky, or you didn't figure out the numbers properly, and you miscalculated how many materials you actually get, and you're not going to get enough in order to clear the event shop. The last thing I want to end off the video on is, I would say the very last thing you want to buy is probably the chest, because, worst case scenario, it's just gold, right? If you don't end up getting the gold from the event shop, it's really not that big of a deal, because you can get gold from pretty much everywhere else in the game. So if a mistake happened, that's where you want the mistake to be. You don't want it to be on something really valuable and exclusive like the cosmetic, because you're not going to have opportunities to get that again in the future. So that's really all the important stuff. This obviously doesn't just apply to the Awakened Lily event. This applies to pretty much every single event in the game. But I really wanted to put this out there because I want to make sure that you guys are clearing out the event shops as best as possible. So with that being said, though, that's going to be it for the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to toss a quick like as well. It means more than you can imagine, and more videos should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to your right or below. Feel free to check them out. More guides, tutorials, and fun videos just like this on the channel. But if not, until next time, have a fantastic day, everyone. Take care, and this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.